Silicon Valley, but live on a really big piece of property. And we live like ranchers or farmers, and we love this. Right? That's the big one is Carlitos. That's the baby. His mama is beside him. That's Lolita. Right? That's me holding one of our friends from our property. That's my wife with her horse. And this one right here is right outside my front window. Does anyone know what that is? What that bird is? Somebody said peacock. No, it is not. Who said that? That is a wild turkey, everybody. And on my property, we have probably about 3 dozen, about 36 wild turkeys that think we are their home.
Fundamentals. What is strategy? What is accounting? What does it mean to pitch an idea, as I'm sure you all are experiencing these couple of weeks? The PhD is really much more dedicated as you're doing this because you can see yourself becoming a professor. That you do this because you might want to do the academic life, that you might want the freedom and admittedly the pain of being a professor. And that's something that I decided that I wanted to do. So one feeling that I had when I was deciding coming back to the university was a first thought of just like, what do I really care about? Right? What are my fundamental values? What am I really motivated by? Right? And it's because you graduate from college, you work for 2 years at a prestigious firm. In some sense, all those choices up to that point, there were no wrong choices, right? You don't decide to not graduate. That doesn't seem like a good idea. You don't decide to not go work at a good firm. That doesn't seem like a good idea.
Also went to that other university that you visited, Stanford University. I went for my graduate degree and got my MBA. And I've also had the pleasure of teaching here in the College of Engineering at the Sutarja Center for Entrepreneurship and Technology. And actually I met the founder of GE&I, Naomi. I met her as a student when I taught at the Tsinghua Berkeley Global Technology Entrepreneurship Program at Tsinghua University. So that was a while ago now. She can share how long ago that was. And
keep a secret.
It's a secret, exactly. And then when I'm not teaching, I am running my own strategy consulting firm called Dynamic Consulting. A little play on my last name. And I also serve as an interim executive for a lot of startup companies. In fact, currently I'm the interim chief marketing officer for a Series B startup in San Francisco. I'll tell you a little bit more about it as we go. And in my free time, I also volunteer as a board member for Santa Clara University's Miller Center for Social Entrepreneurship. Higher than $50? Do you think college students could maybe pay some more for customized shoes? Remember, the top end of the market's $400.
Oh, is
Right?
that so? Okay, then I take back what I said.
Well, that's maybe the sneakerhead market, right?
Yeah.
So you have some considerations, right? So maybe not a bad thing to consider more average prices for the college students, but the high end of the market's $400, so there's some room to grow. Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you very much. So usually someone picks kids and teens. I'm surprised none of you picked that. What's a consideration if you were selling to kids and teenagers that would be different from college students and sneakerheads?
The kids, they grow, so the shoes is really changeable during their growth.
So that's either a good thing or a bad thing. Like maybe they have to buy more often.
Yeah,
Right?
but our function is that one shoe you can use for a long time with different style. So I think this is a shortcoming for our product.
Maybe, but like I said, it could mean more repeat purchases, right? Like if you hook a kid, maybe you keep them while they're teenagers and then they grow up to be college students. Anything else?
Also, the difference in price, I think, because you have to buy them more often.
Right, so maybe you have to make them cheaper, right? Because who else is involved in the purchasing process for kids?
Their parents.
Parents, right? So that's something, right? Because parents, now you have to convince them it's a good value for their kids, right? Whose shoes are, they're growing out of them all the time, and maybe you have to buy it in 6 months. Yes.
And also the quality, and as we can see, like the children's products is like usually expensive than the adults products. So if we can ensure the quality and make it comfortable for the kids, and parents are willing to pay
a premium.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, especially in a place where it's not so much anymore right here, but where you have a only child, right? Maybe you're willing to spend a lot for that. Okay. So do you see how the marketing mix would be different if you chose a different target market? Even though it sounds like you didn't choose different ones. But if you chose them different, you would probably choose a different way to promote, different place, different price point, even different product offering, right?
My background, and then I'll talk about what we're going to talk about. So I started a long time ago as a computer scientist. So it's still in my heart, I'm still a techie, still a geek, right? I don't do coding anymore, but I would do it if I could. And so I have an undergraduate degree in computer science, and then I decided I wanted to go further, and I went to UCLA and started a master's program in computer science, and was kind of going to get a PhD in computer science, when all of a sudden I took some classes in the business school, and that completely changed my way of looking at things. And taking classes at the business school showed me that the technology was interesting, but the people side of technology to me was more interesting than technology itself. So I took a few more classes in the business school at UCLA, and actually got my MBA in addition to my master's in computer science at UCLA. And at that point, I also had this kind of lucky thing happen to me that I was living in the dormitory for grad students at UCLA, and I was assigned to a roommate from Japan. And I knew nothing about Japan. And when I first met this guy, I was like, how am I going to live with this person, right? And we became best friends, and I became fascinated with Japan. And when I finished UCLA, I wanted to actually see Japan and live there. So I applied for a scholarship and was able to get that. So instead of taking a job, I had a job offer at HP here in the Bay Area. Instead, I took an offer to go to Japan, and I worked at Sony. And Sony, in those days, is kind of what Apple and Google is now, kind of the top of the tech world. And I spent a year studying Japanese management at Sony. And then I came back, and I did some IT consulting. I wrote a book about my experiences. Ended up setting up a business in Seoul, in South Korea. And then decided I really was so fascinated with the people side of technology that I wanted to study that further. So I went back to grad school at Carnegie Mellon in Pittsburgh, and I got a degree called organizational behavior, but it's really leadership. It's the people side. But I still did some work in IT. Finished with my degree in organizational behavior, thought I was going to get a quote-unquote normal job being a professor in the US somewhere. But of course, the way my life was unfolding, the most interesting job opportunity wasn't in the US, it was在香港. Right? So I said, okay, let's go. And I went to Hong Kong, and I was only supposed to be in Hong Kong for about 18 months. And I was teaching at 香港科技大学. You know, 香港科技大学? HKUST. And it was only supposed to be 18 months, but I forgot to check my watch. And the next thing I knew, it was 9 years. So I stayed there for 9 years, and I had a great time. I was teaching at HKUST. I also taught in China for a little bit. I taught at Nanjing University, Nanjing University, and Renmin University, Renmin Dashi, and East China Normal University. 这么说，对， that's it, right, in Shanghai. And so had a great time, got to do a little bit of consulting in China, and also taught throughout Asia. I was at National University of Vietnam, did some work in Bangalore, India, consulting in Singapore, all of 9 years. It was a great, great time. And then I came back, I had opportunities here in the States. I came back to the US, and I've taught at a number of universities in the U.S., including Cornell, UCLA, NYU, and most recently here in California, Berkeley. And still doing consulting, teaching, and research. So the reason I talk so much about my history is because I never would have imagined when I started out as a computer scientist that I would be here talking to you guys about leadership and international things. But because the opportunities early in my career took me in different directions, and I looked for those opportunities and I explored them, it's made for a very, very rich and very exciting career. Seen things and done things that I never imagined I would have done. And for you, you've only been here, what, 3 days or something? Stanford, a few days, and now you're here. This chance, for how many of you is this the first time you've been to the U.S.? First time. Almost all of you, right? So this should be your eye-opening experience, right? This should be your chance to begin the path that I took many, many years ago. So while you're here, talk to lots of people. Try to make connections. Try to get them as connections back on WeChat when you go home.
The biggest challenge, well, I'll illustrate what the biggest challenge is for my students coming from China, is that I often use case studies. So it might be 15 or so pages that have been written up about a particular company or a particular executive or something like that. And so the assignment is for the students to read that and come to class prepared to discuss it. And so everyone will come to class, and I'll start the class, and I'll ask, a particular student, I'll call on them and say, what do you think the CEO should do? And this is what's interesting for me, is because for my students from China, when I look at the case study that's been assigned, what does it look like when it's sitting in front of them? What does it look like? What do I see on the paper? Highlights? Highlight?
No.
Notes? I also see, let's see, so if you put it some way, oh, like this? Notepads, do you mind if I borrow this for a second? Notepads? Yeah, with lots of notes. So I know that my students from China have read the case. They've taken notes, they've analyzed it, they've studied it, and when I say, what do you think the CEO should do? Again, my students from China learn fast and they adjust and adapt, but there's a bit of a transition period, because when I say, what do you think the CEO should do, the students from China immediately start flipping through the case, or start looking at their notes to try and find the answer. What's the problem with that? It's not in the case, and no one knows for sure what the CEO should do. What's more frustrating, though, for the students from China is, they're showing, I don't know the answer. What is the right answer? You have to have 100% confidence before expressing the answer. I don't even know what the CEO should do. We're just going to discuss it, debate it, understand it. But so while the student from China is trying to find the answer, there's a student who walks in late. A student from the United States, grew up here, kind of comes in, starts waving the hand, wait, professor, I know, call me. I said, okay, what do you think the CEO should do? And the student from the US will say, well, I had a party to go to last night. So I didn't really have time to read the case, but here's what I think the CEO should do. Which the student said from China, like, what? How can you answer the question? You haven't read the case. So my point is, you have to be able to do both. You have to do the preparation, but then you have to be able to go beyond, trying to find the right answer. Because the right answer, what should someone do in the future? We don't know. Just like all of your business ideas, we don't know whether they will be successful or not. But yet, executives all the time and venture capital are investing money despite that uncertainty. So when I ask you questions and I don't know what the right answer is, that's okay. Just say something. So the three boxes there.
Possible
You can pass it back to me.
I may shoot,
You can shoot.
and I may,
Dribble?
yeah.
Dribble, bounce the ball. You may dribble.
Yeah, I may dribble,
Yeah.
and
So go ahead and dribble the ball a little bit. Okay, stop. Now what can you do?
I can shoot, and I can pass the ball to my friend.
Yeah.
You.
Can you dribble again?
No, I can't.
You can't, he can't dribble again. Yeah, but you're facing that direction, right? Hey, I'm open. What do you have to do? Pass it to me. How would you pass it to me?
I have to figure out where are you now, and I may try to know.
What are you doing right there?
My right hand, my right foot didn't move.
Right.
Yeah. My left foot didn't move.
Yeah. What's that called? That's called a pivot. This is called pivoting. Changing direction. So the same thing in the business world. So thank you. Well done, right? Future NBA star? What's your favorite team? In the NBA? Houston Rockets? Okay. Probably would have preferred the Golden State Warriors, but okay. Yeah. At least it wasn't the Lakers.
Yeah. It's a good team.
So, but the idea there is venture capitalists will say, well, you might have to pivot. And it's a very good term because when you're pivoting, it's in basketball, you can't just pick up and move once you stop. So you've got some grounding in one foot, but you're still kind of looking around, you're trying to change directions. And so, that was what I was asking them, did you pivot? And so you started with this idea, it's still an app, it's still selling something, but whether it's cosmetics or clothes or other things, you're kind of testing things out. You're seeing where the true customer pain point is that's not being met. Okay.
China, terrible people. There may be some people in China who eat dog. I know that. It's been around, and there are other people around who eat dog. It's an interesting question. It's more than just dogs, it's cats also. Dogs and cats. Pets, there are, first of all, a huge industry has developed around pets. Feeding them, cares. So owning a pet is not as hard as it might have been at one time. And you had to create food for the animal, you had to do all this. Now you can buy all this stuff and get services. That's one thing. So it's easier to have pets than not. Number two, there might be a social psychological reason. We have found, our society is very competitive. America is, you may think, and I don't know what they say in China, but America's a dream place. Oh, everything's like Hollywood and everybody is rich and happy, and that's not true, okay? It's a hard place to be. America's tough. It's not easy to live here. But there are benefits to living here. There definitely are. I think pets represent a psychological benefit for people that have an animal that loves them. Because the rest of the world doesn't love you as much. Okay? But animals have, it's a one-sided love. And if you go on the internet, or you go on the Reddit,